This is the second generation of the Mercedes-Benz CLA. This is the 250 plus AMG line powered by EQ technology. In short, this is the CLA BEV or the CLA Electric. It's not called the EQ CLA. Well, the naming has changed. Anyway, straight away coming to the car, this is the key of the vehicle. Lock the car, unlock the car, and this is to open the boot of the vehicle. The key is a bit light, but then this is the entry-level Mercedes model, which is going to replace the A-Class, EQA, EQB, a lot riding on the shoulders of this particular car. Straight away, let's open the frunk. Yeah, this is electric, so obviously it has a usable frunk, which is 101 liters. So yes, this is stuck with magnet. No, not magnet, Velcro. 101 liters, good. So you can keep the charging cable here. Exposed fuses and wires and all that, which is very unexpected in a Mercedes-Benz car. No insulation here, not needed at all. You get gas struts as well, and washer fluid goes in right here. Okay, lot of plastic parts. Straight away, let me tell you that if I had replaced the Mercedes logo with an MG1, you wouldn't have noticed, because the design is very un-Mercedes-like. Mercedes makes cars which are very elegant, subtle, beautiful, and obviously stand the test of time. This one, not so much, because it's loud. How do you have 142 Mercedes logos on the grille which illuminate? So when you lock the car, unlock the car, there's a welcome and goodbye animation as well, which is cool for the youngsters, but for traditional Mercedes-Benz fans like me, I'm like, this is a bit different and aimed at the Chinese market, I believe. Okay, huge Mercedes logo, which actually has the radar behind. You get a camera here, Mercedes-Benz written right there, the other logo. So they have two logos at the, no, what am I saying? Not two logos. They have a million logos at the front, because in the light also, you have the star right there. So main lights are here. It says multi-beam LED on the inside. It says Mercedes-Benz here, small Mercedes logo here, another small Mercedes logo here, and it has the connected light bar, which honestly is a polarizing design. Some like it, some don't. I'm obviously neutral towards it. Anyways, you can see, well, it has this chrome tip on the bumper, and I think those should open and close or what, because this car has a CD value of just 0.21, because efficiency is the name of the game here. Meanwhile, you have aero curtains here, and it has got a provision for the towing hook here. 6 parking sensors, because it obviously has got self park as well. The indicator functioning here at the moment, replacing the DRL obviously, and you have this piano black finishing right there. You obviously get a camera there, actually 2 cameras. I think one is for ADAS, lane keep assist and all, and one is for the traffic light view, and you get a rain sensor as well. And because it's electric, it has this particular sticker here. It even mentions the person who has actually worked on the car, which usually is something which started with higher end Mercedes models. Now in terms of size, well, first and foremost, it has a coupe-like design, and this particular car has increased in size when compared to its predecessor. So this car is 30 mm longer, 25 mm taller, 25 mm wider as well, and the wheelbase has increased by 61 mm. In fact, for India, they've actually increased the ground clearance, which is very important because our roads are really pathetic. Now, obviously, it has got aero wheels, which don't look that great. AMG written right here makes the wheel actually look smaller, and the tire size is 225 45 18, but because this is rear wheel drive, the rear tire is actually bigger, 255 40 18. Yeah, much bigger at the rear. Oh yeah, look at that. And obviously it has got these door handles which pop in and out when you lock and unlock the vehicle. So let me pop them out. Why is it not popping out? Yeah, there they come out. Yeah, didn't come out properly. Oh my god, what's happening? Yeah, it says Mercedes-Benz here. It automatically locks and unlocks on its own convenience. This is the problem with current electric cars, especially with Mercedes-Benz models, that they automatically turn off the car when you get out of it. I can do that, please don't do it for me. Meanwhile, the mirrors have 2 cameras, one camera here, one camera here. So obviously a lot of tech in this vehicle, and look at this. Okay, when I open the door, the window goes half the way down and then it rolls back all the way, halfway all the way, because this has got frameless doors, which is a CLA trait obviously. But the rear seat is quite disappointing in spite of the fact that the wheelbase is longer here. So the length of this car is slightly more than 4.7 meters. The wheelbase is almost 2.8 meters. Good numbers, obviously less than the C-Class. C-Class doesn't have space at the rear. So how do I expect the CLA to have space at the rear? Stupid of me. Anyways, let's get inside. Getting in and out, not difficult as such. Obviously, you have to go down a bit. Space here is not that good. Okay, knee room, foot room seems to be adequate enough. Yeah, just about adequate knee room. Foot room also seems decent. Under thigh support is really poor. You are sitting in a knees up position because the battery is obviously placed between the wheelbase. So yes, it raises the, I mean, your legs as such. Meanwhile, this is obviously hard. You get a magazine holder here, height adjustable seat belts, 8 airbags, a hook here. Let's shut the door, and then the window rolls up slightly. You get 2 USB charging sockets, hard plastics everywhere, rear AC vents, no rear AC vent control obviously. You get a center armrest with 2 cup holders, a phone holder, a center headrest, and you can obviously fold this down to carry longer items. So this is obviously a 40-20-40 split. Light placement here on the, no, this is not a light placement. What is this exactly? You guys tell me in the comment section below. So rear seat experience not that good, and headroom isn't that great either. My head is almost touching the roof, which does not have a blind. Mercedes is like, this has a heat coating, so heat will not come inside. Well, honestly, it doesn't really work in the Indian climate. We need a blind here, and the other problem is this does not even open. So it's a moonroof, it's not even a sunroof. Okay, this is soft, but the seats are so big at the front, it hinders visibility obviously. And this is adjustable like this. Meanwhile, you have the power window control here. I think the car is turned off because it likes to turn itself off all the time. Door pockets are decent size. You can actually keep a 1 liter bottle here. You just have to push it a bit and squeeze it. You have soft material here. Look at the treatment right there. And this is also soft. So yeah, doors have been nicely padded, obviously hard in the inside. And rear seat experience disappoints. So this is definitely not for people who want to sit at the rear, because the seat angle is also a bit too upright. You can't recline the seat. You see the different kind of color treatment they have done, which actually looks quite tasteful and nice as well. Red stitching here, red here. Beautifully done. Well done, Mercedes. Well done, Mercedes. Okay. Coming to the rear of the car, it definitely looks better than the front. Again, you have the connected light treatment, wherein you have a star here, obviously. And the indicator is here. Now it stopped functioning because car turned off. And you have the connected light bar. When you unlock the car, it obviously has this animation. Yeah, there you see the animation is working right now. And obviously, it's both welcome and goodbye, the animation. This fake treatment is happening in all Mercedes cars. I don't like it at all. You have 6 parking sensors at the rear because obviously self-park. This is a reflector. Piano black finishing here. Sort of a diffuser treatment. Obviously, there's no exhaust, so there's no fake exhaust treatment here either. And that is the provision for the towing hook. Meanwhile, you can see the underbody of this car. Yeah, it's a new platform here. I press this to open the boot of the vehicle. It's not powered, but it has the force to open. Not closed, you have to push it down really. 405 liters is the size of the boot, but spare wheel has been placed right on top, which means the boot is not very much usable. The spare tire is obviously smaller sized. It's a 125/70/19. It's a steel wheel here, obviously limited to 80 kilometers per hour recommendation. You can do whatever you want. Look at the premium quality of the first aid kit. Yeah, super premium, the first aid kit of the vehicle. Let's try and open this. Yeah, that's really nice. Not the cheap kind I'm used to seeing in cars these days. And obviously you have the high visibility jacket as well, a very German thing. This is the charging cable of the vehicle. Yeah, and that is the warning triangle. Meanwhile, here let me pull this up. That is the tire inflator, and that is the towing hook. So some storage space there as well. But yeah, the boot's lip is small. It's not very practical as such in terms of the boot space here. You get a high mounted stop lamp right there, and charging happens from here. That is the charging cable of the vehicle. So they have tried to make this car as ICE as possible. Yeah, look like an ICE vehicle, name like an ICE vehicle, feels like an ICE vehicle, but has an electric motor here. Now the front doors actually project stars. Yes, the front doors project stars here, which is kind of cool as well. The seat is actually moving behind when I open the door. Lot of information here about the weight, here about the tire pressure, and here about service. In case you have an accident, you need to call. 24-hour Mercedes service available there. Says Mercedes-Benz here. Door pockets are big at the front as well. You get a reflector here. Nice red stitching. Now you would notice one thing, that this is new. Yes, this looks quite nice and funky, easy to use. But there's a mark here. I don't know how it came. Unlock the car, lock the car. Nice treatment here. But only 2 power window switches. How do you operate the rear power windows? I will show you in a bit. Mirror controls here. You actually have to press this to activate rear power windows. So they have reduced switches here, which is kind of weird. I mean, I'm seeing this for the first time. They didn't have much space, it seems, because yeah, look at this. This is not possible to be used, apparently. Here you obviously get a proper dead pedal, electric parking brake, light control. This is obviously for the rear fog, which happens to be coming somewhere here. So when you leave 5 of these, that's where the rear fog actually is. So yeah, very different new things for a Mercedes-Benz model. Like obviously the dashboard, which is very upright. Now here is some storage space with 2 USB-C charging sockets, 100-watt fast charging. That's kind of nice. Seats are nice and comfortable as well. Very nice bolstering too. And under thigh support is obviously adjustable manually. This is more like a namkeen holder here, because someone has eaten namkeen, dropped it here and just shut this so nobody notices. That's kind of weird. Now let's get inside. Again, polarizing opinion about the dashboard. How do you turn on the car? You press the brake and close the door, and there it says to start the vehicle, apply brakes and select drive or reverse. That's how easy it is. Now seat was moving all over the place. This is auto dimming. Here you get a mirror and a light and a microphone here as well. This does not extend, it is fixed. You don't have many buttons here, you just have light control and SOS button. Indicator started functioning right now. There is no heads-up display. The dashboard is huge but has a lot of hard plastic almost everywhere. Now this can be opened. Yeah, you can remove it and you can just put it back and press this button to actually open the cup holders side thing, whatever that is. You have this nice beautiful treatment with these nice lines as well. Here you get a sliding tray and some storage space on the inside. This does not come out only. No, it does come out. You have to pull it. Yeah, but there is no cooling function here. The glove box is also small. There is no cooling function there either, and lot of hard plastics lower down as well. No branded audio system. I think globally they offer Burmester. 8 airbags, I already mentioned the same. And the steering wheel obviously gets the AMG line treatment with this red stitching. But these are not proper buttons. These are touch controls, which are very frustrating to use. The steering wheel is adjustable both for reach as well as rake. You get a wireless charging pad here. You get a slew of buttons which are also touch operated, not the best to use. And this is obviously the AC vent, which is easy to shut and open. In fact, side ones are like turbines. Again, easy to shut and open. So I kind of like that. Now here you get a lot of Mercedes stars, which by the way illuminate at night. But the 350 all-wheel drive model actually has a screen here, 14-inch screen, 3 screens in that car. In India, we don't get 3 screens, thankfully. This is a new screen, 14-inch screen in terms of size. This is a big screen as well. Look at the size, 10.25-inch screen, and they have changed the graphics here. So just 2 of these menus. It can get a bit frustrating to use this. Yeah, one is a navigation view, which actually shows you a lot of accurate surroundings, including motorcycles, trucks, buses, cars. Everything is shown very accurately, including pedestrians. Really nice. So this is actually the navigation menu.
The route is being
no, lady, don't navigate me anywhere.
To the highlighted route.
Yeah, it just starts on its own. So like I was telling you, this is very frustrating to use this. I don't want to use this. I don't know why it's working this way. No, bro, I don't want to use it. See, I am telling you now, I don't know what's the obsession of having touch controls. You're trying to press something else only happens. Now here I can obviously browse through. It tells me obviously trip data, and you have a navigation menu as well, and that's about it. So not very fancy as such. And this is showing you how much power you're consuming, range, kilometer, percentage power, and this is the range. And here is the speedometer. It also is digital. So that's about
Charging stations have been added to your route.
Lady, shut up. Let me talk. Okay. Now, this screen is really nice. It's super slick. So this is the navigation menu. And this is for the air conditioning. So dual zone climate control air conditioning system. Let me turn on the air conditioning. Air conditioning is actually a chiller, very much needed considering this brings in a lot of heat inside. So AC works quite nice here. And then you have the modes. But the interesting part here is that if I press this button, I come into seat adjustment. Basically, I can adjust the seat from here as well. I can adjust it from here, but I can't save the memory. To save the memory or to change the position, I have to do it from here. There is seat heating. There is no seat ventilation, Mercedes. And there is massage as well. There is no mode as such for the massage. There's just one massage which works on this particular area. So it's not very comprehensive as such. And seat kinetics obviously just dances the seat a bit. But seat ventilation should have been offered. Now, it's an easy thing to browse because obviously it's quite slick here, and whatever the app you used, it actually comes down here. Yes, I was playing Angry Birds and it's asking me to connect to data to be able to play Angry Birds. Just start Angry Birds already. I don't know why it's asking me every time to accept this thing. It's absolutely crazy. Time passes Angry Birds and works fantastically well because screen is very slick and all. It's like you're operating an iPad, which is very cool. I definitely like it. Which actually brings me to YouTube. It's asking me how the data is connected. I think there's some inbuilt connected car thing data also. And then here you can obviously watch videos too in quite high resolution as well. Which actually brings me to the car menu, which is new here. So all the systems right in front of you, you can change it. But window lock has to be activated from here. Yeah, that's right. Window lock has to be activated from here, not from here. So they're complicating things for no reason at all. And then you can come into all the settings. So there's obviously level 2 ADAS here, and you can change that. You can come into tires, you can see the tire pressure, you can obviously decide you're on summer tires or winter tires. It is active. Why is it not showing me the tire pressures? I think the car has to be driven a bit to be able to understand all that. And then I can come in the light menu, audio experiences, and all those things can be done from here. Yeah, you can change almost everything from here, which actually brings me to the charging thing options. Here it's showing me what's the charge like and what's the battery percentage and all those things. However, when I press this button, I come into the home screen. Okay, there's Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, both of which are wireless. Ambient lighting is actually quite nice. So you have got multiple colors here, which is quite cool. So I think there are some predefined multicolors, and then there's monochrome, which has 64 colors here, and this is very nicely done. Superb. You have 10 levels of brightness. You have effects as well for ADAS also. It will work, which is quite nice. So well done, Mercedes, in terms of the ambient lighting. They always do good ambient lighting, so there's no question about that. There's a browser here, and then you can make tweaks to the sound system, how you want the way the sound to come, right? Why is this not working only? I don't know. Maybe the audio system is not on at the moment. Which actually brings me to this particular menu here, digital extras. What is it? Well, you can, I think, probably buy things. It's permanently activated, available till next year or something. Music. So yeah, they are obviously trying to sell you software as a service here. And this brings me to the fact that you have got multiple games. You can get tips of how to drive the car. And here in this particular menu, the interesting part is there's a camera. You can see there's actually a camera right here. So I just agree here. Yeah, there's a camera here. And then obviously you can take photos, you can take videos, and you can do all that as well. Inbuilt camera. Yeah, that is a new thing which is coming to almost all the cars these days. But I like the fact that they made things super easy here, which makes it super awesome. And then you can turn on the lights from here if you want. Yeah, everything has become so digital now. It's kind of insane. I mean, nobody asked for everything to be so digital. And then you have got music apps too. Superb screen. This is actually the new MBUX, the 4th generation of the MBUX, known as the MBOS, and it's phenomenal because the navigation is actually Google Maps, so it works phenomenally well. And that's not all. It also has Chat GPT and Google Gemini inbuilt, so you can say, "Hey Mercedes," and ask her a question and she will answer. And right now she's a bit sleepy, so she's not really giving me much bow as such. Let me shut this. Why did this open in the first place? Let's come into dynamic select. So 4 drive modes right here. This is the camera, so 360-degree parking camera, which is very slick to operate. Absolutely phenomenal. Attention to detail is such. Look, I give an indicator, it shows you. I flash the lights, it shows you that as well. And right now I'm on the brake, so it's showing you that too. So that is some level of attention to detail. Look at the camera quality, absolutely phenomenal. Let's come into reverse. So it has got adaptive guidelines. I think the software in this car is just amazing. You have like really good quality of cameras, and obviously, you know, the Mercedes logo opens and the camera pops out. Otherwise the camera is definitely hidden there. And this is the gear selector, very Mercedes like. And this is obviously the indicator, which also is for the flash and also for the wiper control. So everything in one stock only. But I am not coming to grips with these touch controls. I don't know why they do these touch controls. The horn is nice, but how does this car drive? Because a new platform and a very different electric experience from Mercedes-Benz. Let's go. Before that, the mirror is small. Alright, it's time to start driving. As soon as I come into park, There it shuts, has the Mercedes logo here with this sort of a glow. As soon as I open the door, well, honestly nothing happened, just tells me it's trying to connect to something. And every time I turn on the car, there's this nice animation here. It shows me the Mercedes-Benz logo here. It also has this Mercedes light dance, which is obviously normal in a lot of Mercedes cars. How do I turn on the car? I straight away come into drive, and there it starts. I'm going to change the cluster mode, and it's a bit fidgety to use this. Come on, yeah, only 2 options, so very limited customization. You can see people around walking. First things first, air conditioning off, and secondly, I am going to come into dynamic select. I'm going to come into sport mode. You can see people walking here, motorcycle coming there like a sports bike, but it's actually an Activa. And we get into drive and off we go. Super smooth. There, the doors, they locked. You can hear that sound as well. In fact, why not just navigate to some location? So let's see where we can go. We'll just go to, I don't know, probably Kerala right now.
The route is being calculated.
Yeah. Now you notice this, it is showing me this camera view when I need to turn. That's also very nicely done.
200 meters.
Okay, lady, just shut up. You don't have to talk. Who's telling you to talk? I don't know why she keeps talking, so I'm just going to maybe mute her. Yeah, too many things to go into. Yeah, it can get a bit frustrating how everything is so much into this screen. In fact, when I was going through the screen, I realized there's a particular menu to adjust your height, which is in other Mercedes models. You put your height, not to adjust your height, but to adjust your seat. Okay, you just put your height inside and it will auto adjust that as well. Just shut up, lady. Okay, message is off. Let's see now whether she shuts up or not. And I will come into the navigation menu and let's see how it navigates me. So in this screen, you can adjust the lumbar as well, and then you can also pre-decide if you want the climate control air conditioning to turn on at a certain time. You can set your departure time there as well. There's a weather app, which is kind of cool. You know why? Because it tells you the weather, it tells you a lot of other things. So many apps inside here, which is absolutely crazy. But the important one for me right now is obviously the sound experiences, which is right here. And I can change the sound of the car. So yeah, you will hear the sound. So you can obviously change that. There's an online manual here with videos. Even tips are there with videos, which tells you that how do you operate this car. So because it's going to be a first car for a lot of people who are buying a Mercedes. Oh, look at that 7 Series. It looks so damn cool. So many people in that 7 Series. Surprise, surprise. 740i. My day is actually made. You can also pair a game controller here. Yes, you can play games. We hyped it up with the Tata Sierra, but Mercedes has been doing this as well. If I swipe from top, what can I do? Okay. It's telling today is a special day because today happens to be Women's Day. So, like I was telling you, lot of cool things. Especially the grill has this cool light which keeps moving all through the place, which is also fantastic. In fact, below the mirror also there's a light. It doesn't really project on the floor, but it kind of projects on the car to tell you basically where the car is probably. And being a Mercedes, obviously, if I increase the AC temperature, it becomes red. The side AC vents become red, and if I decrease it, it becomes blue. The side AC vents become blue. That is so fantastic. Yeah, quite cool, but I don't understand why there are no freaking physical buttons, like touch buttons here, thankfully for volume as well. But you're so reliant on the screen, which is too crazy to be honest. It's not something to my liking, and I do not like it. Yeah, I just don't like it only. Anyways, sound experiences, here we are. So listen to the sound in silver waves. Artificial and weird. Let's come into vivid flux. Again, very weird. Trying to sound like an internal combustion engine in rolling pulse, I believe. Not really. It doesn't feel like that. Serene breeze. Just weird. The sound is just weird. Not to my liking at all. But anyways, enough of getting into this whole digital thing right here. Let's talk about performance. So this is actually the rear wheel drive variant of the CLA EQ, which means that there's just a single motor which is at the rear. Obviously, this is the 250 plus. Meanwhile, the 350, which is all-wheel drive, has a dual motor setup which produces a lot more power and torque. In fact, this is the debut of a new platform for Mercedes known as the MMA, Mercedes Modular Architecture, which puts electric first but can also take hybrid and internal combustion engines as well, because they realize that the born electric strategy is just not working here for them, because people are like, we don't like the design of the EQE, but here Mercedes has actually got a phenomenal coefficient of drag of just 0.21, And this doesn't have a single speed gearbox, it has 2 speed, yes, like the Taycan, but not for speed but for efficiency. And they have nailed the efficiency because WLTP claim range 792 kilometers. You're never going to get range anxiety in this car. That's how well Mercedes has managed to just do it right in terms of the range, because their focus has been on efficiency since day one. Right now it's saying 621 kilometers of range on 70% battery. Okay, it's the time to time this car. So left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Rev still 30% power and off we go. Oh, the fake sounds. 0 to 100 km per hour in 6 seconds. Mercedes claims that this car goes from 0 to 100 km per hour in 6.7 seconds, which makes it quite fast here. 272 horsepower and 335 Newton meters of torque. Performance is actually very linear, very smooth. The refinement is amazing because obviously an electric motor doesn't make much sound, only the whoosh comes, the electric motor whine. But here the road noise is very well contained. Tire noise is also very well contained. Now I'm on a smooth road, but rumblers you can hear. They've actually insulated the wheel well quite nicely. It's just that it's telling me the navigation here, which is quite cool. With this AR sort of a direction change as well, which is nice as well. So I'm just going to stop here quickly because we're going to launch it again. But this time with traction control off. Yes, that's right. You can turn off the traction control completely here. So ESP system off. And it tells me there, so I just should accept that. And we come back to our navigation menu. But there are 4 drive modes: Comfort, Sport and Eco. There's also Individual, which lets you configure a few things, which is Drive, Steering and ESP, which you can make Sport or Comfort. Drive you can make Eco, Comfort, Sport, and Steering, Comfort or Sport. So rather than being in this particular drive mode, I'm definitely going to come into the Sport drive mode, and traction control is off as well. Before I go right foot on the accelerator, let me show you another trick of this car. So wiper test here. Okay, you see water is coming from here, but if I keep this button pressed, it does intensive cleaning. Which is something which is there on high-end Mercedes models only. So for 30 seconds, the windscreen is going to be like this, so that it's able to remove the dust or anything which is stuck on the windscreen. Wow, what a feature in an entry-level Mercedes model. I'm quite impressed here. Let's just shut that. Okay, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, and off we go. Okay, there's no revving of the motor because this is electric here. But anyways, you get the gist. So 0 to 100 km per hour, 6.04 seconds. Consistent performance here. Fantastic. It's almost 2000 kgs, actually more than 2000 kgs in terms of weight. However, you don't feel the weight at all, which is quite surprising. The car just feels so light. I don't know how they've tuned it so well. Actually, the thing is, Mercedes does phenomenal steering wheels. The steering wheel here also is very nice. It's direct, it's responsive, it has feel, it has got feedback, and you know exactly where you're pointing to. And because it's rear wheel drive, the front wheels don't have to do the steering, and thus even with traction control off, it's able to put all that power down. No tire screeching, no wheel spin, nothing, just pure grip here, which is phenomenal. Which actually makes me want to talk about the model which is not coming to India, the 350, which actually is more powerful, obviously 354 horsepower and 515 Newton meters of torque. The result is it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 4.9 seconds. Now this car has a 85 kilowatt hour battery pack. It's an NMC battery pack, and it's a big battery actually. The result is obviously phenomenal range here. I'm quite impressed by Mercedes' range here. Any of the electric cars, range is always nice. They nail that pretty nicely. So first things first, good range in Mercedes models. Phenomenal. Second thing, the handling is also nice, yeah. It is having a good steering, body control is good, body roll is well contained. Feels really nice to drive this car. I'm very surprised how this drives like a much bigger car, a much sportier car, yet ride quality is actually very good. Ride here is fantastic, phenomenal ride, because what Mercedes has managed to do is given us a firm suspension, which is obviously expected, but in spite of the firm suspension, it somehow is able to take the worst in its stride without much effort. So it doesn't crash through bad bumps. It's only on really bad bumps at lower speeds it does feel that firm. Otherwise the ride flattens out beautifully. The problem here is the low profile tires. Tires are like really low profile tires. I don't understand the logic of, tuning the suspension specifically for India, what they have done, given it a higher ground clearance and all that to make it more India compatible, yet opt for 18-inch wheels with low profile tires. That just doesn't sit well here, unfortunately. So they should have looked at that, which actually brings me to the charging. Okay, it charges with a 11 kilowatt AC charger, so 10 to 100% in 9 hours, respectable because that's like home charging. But outside it can charge up to speeds of 240 kilowatt, which means 10 to 80% in just 22 minutes, which is actually very fast. And Mercedes is like, you can get 400 kilometers of range in just 20 minutes if you get an ultra fast charger, which is a problem which is not easy to get in Indian conditions. So yeah, that's something you have to keep an eye out for. Whoosh! Superb. Performance is superb. However, everything is great when you talk about it in isolation. The issue happens is when you start looking at the pricing of the car. Now, Mercedes hasn't announced the pricing, and since it's going to replace the EQA, the EQB and the A-Class limousine, I'm just going to put in some assumptions here. Firstly, I think their price is going to be around rupees 60 lakhs, which is a good price for an entry-level Mercedes model. However, the problem is the BYD Seal. Not really a direct competitor, but it's also a sedan. More powerful, 0 to 100 km per hour in 3.8 seconds, which is earth-shattering to be honest. Superb in terms of performance. I don't know why people are laying on the road here. Not the best place to do an exercise, and we're still cruising at low speeds. But anyways, the thing is that BYD is offering stellar value for money, which obviously Mercedes will not be able to offer because this is a CBU, not that the BYD is a CKD. This is coming from Germany. And the problem is this car is actually made for Germany only. It's not made for India. There's no sunblind. There's no ventilated seats here. Low ground clearance, you have to be a bit careful, although they have raised it, but still I managed to hit a couple of big fat speed breakers even while crawling with a lot of caution. So yeah, low ground clearance, another issue. Getting into the rear, a bit of a pain because it's a small area to get into. Rear seat space isn't that great, and obviously being electric, the frustrating part here is the way they have done this whole thing of turning on and off the vehicle, because there's no button as such. You get on, you get into gear, which means when you leave the car, it'll automatically turn off, but you want to keep the AC running. How do you manage that? Keep the car in neutral, which is dangerous because the car can obviously roll ahead and behind. I don't know what this new trend is all about. Why are car brands doing this thing of removing buttons and not even giving an engine start button? And beyond that, the worst thing which I feel what car brands are doing is, why are they wanting to turn off the car when you exit it? Makes no sense. Yeah, like I paid for the full car, let me use it completely as well. Yeah, making a quick overtake absolutely effortless. Pulls so smoothly and nicely, and that is the Tata Sierra, and that's something which people should not be doing. How many people are in the car? I don't know. I can see a lot, but why are they hanging out from the sunroof? Not the coolest thing to do, but anyways, that's the reason why the sunroof of this car does not open. So it's not a sunroof, it's technically a moonroof. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Let's reset this and off we go. That's 0 to 100 km per hour in 6.08 seconds. Such consistent performance, very nice. Now, this car has obviously got 5-star rating from Euro NCAP, and since this is a CBU, obviously it will be safe here as well because it's manufactured in Germany. But the FTA benefit doesn't apply to this car at all, and that's the reason I think Mercedes did not bother to get the ICE counterparts yet, because they know that people will expect a stellar pricing, for which they will obviously assemble it in India, because FTA is not kicked in yet, and FTA is not applicable to EVs, which means that getting this car from Germany makes no added sense as such, or doesn't give any benefit as such, because obviously EV cars are taxed less. However, CBUs are still taxed quite a lot, and at the end of the day, Mercedes is like, we don't really pass on the 100% pricing of the duties to the customers, and that's one of the reasons how they're able to be more competitive. But the Tesla Model Y is priced around rupees 66 lakhs, so awfully close to this car. And a Tesla is a Tesla because obviously the brand is strong, and the software and the UI there is absolutely unbelievable. Looks like an iPad slapped in there, and that's how slick it is. Beautiful. And no problem even with the traction control off. Actually, ESP is off, traction control is still on, which means that you're not going to slide in this car. You can't do donuts or drifts or burnouts. None of that happens here. But that's something which can happen in a car of a similar price, which obviously the BMW 3 Series, the 330 Li, which is priced at rupees 73 lakhs on road Mumbai. However, BMW is on a discount rampage. A friend of mine recently bought a 330 Li, and he got the car for rupees 59.25 lakhs, which means the price of that car is around the price of this car, which begs the question, why would you buy an electric car when you can buy a bigger car with a tried and tested engine and without having to worry where to charge for similar money? Yeah, that's actually a fun alternative to this particular car. BMW is offering 13 lakh discount on the 3 Series, which is absolutely crazy. Pay a bit more, you can get the M340i as well. So that makes me a bit confused. To whom is this car actually targeted to? Who's going to be the buyer of this car? Because, I mean, this is a very different type of a Mercedes model. There's something about Tata Sierra and people coming out of the sunroof. You can see that. Okay, as soon as I turned, I don't know why they got inside the car. It's not like I am the sunroof police, bro. Chill. Anyways, let's go. How this fire thing is coming here, which is kind of weird. And it's the time now to do the brake test, which means hazard lights on at 100 kilometers per hour. We step on the brakes. Sort of gave me a shock only with the tire screeching here. Let's change the sound to roaring pulse. I'm not able to find that dynamic menu which Mercedes models usually have. And left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard lights off, and off we go. Zero to 100 in 6.07 seconds. How is a car so consistent? Anyways, guys, this is my video of the Mercedes CLA, and it's a fantastic car, very tech loaded, but a bit polarizing in terms of design. And then it all turns out to be how they are going to price it. I mean, that's the important factor here, because at the end of the day, the cost is going to matter a lot for first time owners. And let me be very honest, no person buys an A-Class or an EQA or an EQB or a CLA or a GLA or a 2 Series or a X1 because they like those cars. They buy it for the logo. The brand knows it as well, and that's the reason they brought these cars, so that they could push their legacy models a bit further ahead in terms of pricing, like the 3 Series, the C-Class, the X3, the GLC, and all of those became more expensive so that these models could be slotted below. But if you're buying this car, you're buying it for the logo, and in that regard, obviously, it definitely does a lot to keep you happy. However, these are not true blue Mercedes or BMW models, and if I want to drag Audi also, I can say the same about the Q2 and all those cars, the A3 as well, because at the end of the day, the real essence of a Mercedes is a rear wheel drive, or a 3 Series is a rear wheel drive, not an EV but an internal combustion engine. So EV problem is that China makes a lot better EVs at a lot more competitive price, and that's what matters here, how Mercedes is going to price it. But with CBU, you can't really expect much. If you like this video, make sure to give the thumbs up, that's the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye. Yeah, I kind of have a bad throat right now, but still.